Hi, I'm Stephen Morrissey. I'm a senior on the Williams College men's ice hockey team from Arlington, Virginia. I'm a political science and history major. When I first came to Williams, it was I was on a recruiting visit and I got to come see a hockey game, and we got a tour with a member of the team, and we talked to Dave Pilichowski, our student advisor, and it was immediate. I knew as soon as I got to campus that this is where I want to be, and I knew it was a great decision. This is home base right here. This is the crease. You're the only one allowed in it, which not always the case, but you got to make sure to stay tough, and if not, then the other guys will help you out. But yeah, this is your home. As a goalie, you're the only one who really who gets such a good view of the ice. Everyone else is always moving around, so it's important that even though you're not doing the same thing as everyone else, you're always talking, always making sure that people know where they're supposed to go, and if guys aren't where they're supposed to be and you didn't tell them, well, then that's your fault. It can get pretty hectic out here. The sheet looks pretty big, but when you got 10 guys on the ice and full equipment, it can get pretty crowded, and there are a lot of times when it can be a little difficult to see the puck, but that's why you gotta make sure your guys are moving other guys out of the way, always making sure that you have a good view of it, because you can't really stop what you can't see. Growing up in Northern Virginia, hockey isn't exactly a hotbed sport there, but for some reason my dad used to take me to a lot of Washington Capitals games, and I would go and sit in the nosebleeds with him, and I would look down at the guy in the crease wearing the weird equipment, and for some reason, I don't know what it was, but I thought that's what I want to do. So I started playing goalie full time by the time I was around 8 years old, and haven't looked back since. So as a political science and history major here, I really wasn't sure where I was leaning when I first got to school, but Williams gives you a great opportunity to take a lot of different classes, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and really helps you to formulate a trajectory academically that suits you best. And I added a history major. I was originally a political science major, added a history major last spring, so even late into the process, and it's been easy to fulfill my requirements. And next year, my plan, I'm going to take a year off from school, take a gap year, and start preparing my applications and taking tests for law school admission. Last summer, I worked at Story Partners, a communications firm based in Washington, D.C. Story works with clients to help them develop strategies to get the issues that are important to them in front of influential decision makers in Washington. That ends up being a lot of politicians, and that was really the part of the industry I was most interested in. One of my favorite parts of being a member of the Williams hockey team is the work we do with Zach Hiller. He's came to us through Team Impact before I got here, and he's been the biggest Williams hockey fan ever since. His parents have us over for dinner all the time. He comes out and skates with us after practice. We actually, for Christmas, one of our assistant coaches, Dana Borges, found a way to get him a sled to play sled hockey. So we unwrapped the present in the locker room, and we came out here, and he started zipping around, and it was just one of the coolest things ever. I was so happy to see it. And it's been so rewarding. He helps us out more than we help him, I think. It's impossible to have a bad day when we come to the rink and see Chief. At Williams, there have been a lot of professors that have had a really big impact on me in my education. I'd say one that's really stood out, though, has been Professor Charles Dew, the history department. He's a Williams grad, class of 1958, I believe, and I've taken 2 classes with him. I'm signed up for my 3rd in the spring, and whether he's teaching class or just talking to the students before or after class, it's unbelievable listening to him talk. No one knows. I've never had a professor who knows more about his subject and is able to convey it to a bunch of undergrads, and it's been great to learn from him. And it's something that you can only really experience at a place like Williams.